Ooh, I burped. Excuse me.
Count it.
I have burped 20 this session. Yeah. It is not in that one. It is stream elements.
Hello. I'm speaking.
Is it me?
Yeah, Coda, the thing is. There's no way. There's no way he would have.
There's no way.
Welcome to stream, everybody.
Look at us.
Look at us.
We're
Look
cute.
at us. You know what I do need to do?
I
What do
will
you need to
continue
do?
to work on that later.
I mean, you can
Yeah,
work on
because you're
it
on the
now.
clock now.
I am on the clock.
Yeah.
Did you see birds? When's a reasonable time to yell at you about putting the VOD on YouTube? Anytime is a reasonable time to yell at Cal about putting VODs
Hello,
on YouTube.
darling.
Hi! There's a very weird feeling that I have right now, which is that we're not doing a game.
Yes.
And that's weird.
Yeah. I have one double D6 on my desk, and that's
I
it.
mean, I have my forever dice cup. And I have my bones.
I have all of my
love
dice, and
bones.
also my rocks are somewhere. Where are my rocks?
My rocks, most of my rocks are behind me, but catch up on that first session because I missed everything post churros. Thank you, Coda. This actually, I found this lipstick on because of TikTok. The brand is called Real Her, like honest she. And the color is called I Am Tough.
On my rocks.
Hey, if we want to have a mobile war, I'm into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's called I Am Tough. It's pretty. I saw it on, and it was just like the most like true red lip that I could find ever. I find this is my red.
Yeah.
I've ordered several, and I have
was
one
gonna
other
say.
color that's pink. But I really only use it when I'm cosplaying Addie, because I don't usually do a pink lip.
Yeah.
I tend to favor browns and berries.
I like berries.
Me too. I was talking fabulous cosmetics, and then Cal just popping in, I like berries.
What can I say? I do.
I do.
Fucking like to eat berries.
I like
What else you want from me,
berries.
dude?
Yeah, we got half above of 4, so this is a good one. Yes, these are my bone dice. They are made of buffalo bones.
Thank
These-
you, Tonks.
These are several D6s. I got them at Comic-Con when I bought Sushi Go and Settlers of Catan.
God, I love
Cute.
Sushi Go.
We have not actually played it yet. We have
It's
it here
so
at the
much
house,
fun.
but we have not played it.
It's a lot of fun. I really like it.
Oh,
We
Some
have
little
lots of
sushis.
games for when you guys hang out, though.
I am so excited to road trip down. Yes. Darling agrees with me. Amanda agrees with me. Sushi Go is so
Baby.
much fun. Childless millennial, you're gonna find that there are a lot of things that I do, all unintentional, all genuine, that several people will tell me are adorable. I have to believe them because every time I disagree, I get yelled at.
That's correct.
Speaking of sushi, mine has arrived thanks to Derek.
Derek!
I should probably
you,
not yell
Derek.
because I have a baby sleeping in the next room.
Every time that it says, it's just the all caps, Derek!
Get out. Sorry, I'm yelling at chat now. We should probably do what we're here to do.
I thought we were doing what we
Yeah,
were
this
here
is
to
what
do.
we're here to do.
Yeah,
is to
I know.
just talk mostly. We did not
So-
plan anything.
Am I a dungeon master or am I a dragon manager?
You are a dungeon master, I believe.
Okay.
I personally identify as a dragon manager.
We have to go. Now that you've brought it up, we have to talk about the difference.
Yeah. Personally,
Appreciate you, childless millennial.
expressive face owner.
Um,
Derek. Anyway.
I was actually talking about this the other night with Sam, not necessarily dungeon,
Dungeon
master
Masters
versus
and
dragon
Dragon
manager,
Managers.
but dungeon master versus game master.
Yeah.
Because we were watching the round table that Matt, Abria, and Brennan.
I've watched several times. Yeah.
And they
surprising absolutely no one.
Yeah, no.
At all.
And they almost exclusively refer to themselves as game masters, which, when I think about it, I have only ever run games in D&D 5e.
Yeah.
I have not run any other tabletop systems, so I consider myself a dungeon master because I like Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's give a rundown of our experience while we're in this.
I had one campaign played 3.5 that sucked, and then I've been pretty much 5e for forever. But the reason that I personally,
how many years is forever?
Well, Cal, when did we start playing Lyra the first time? 3 years ago?
Lyra started 2000.
I want to say 18.
Late 18.
Late 18.
October, November of 18.
Yeah. And then, so that was when I actually got to play D&D rather than just obsessively watch and study D&D, which is what I was doing for approximately 7 months prior to playing D&D with this group. Derek tipped the parcel and spilled the sauce in the plastic bag. Derek,
how dare you, Derek? How dare
sucks.
you?
Hey,
Fuck
you, Derek.
Derek. That's for you, bud.
Tell Derek I'm gonna pee in his shoes. Or don't.
That's a waste of your urine.
Tighten up, Derek. So yeah, I've been exclusively D&D. I've looked at other systems, but I've never run another system. Yeah, and I say dragon manager because I don't think I've ever run an actual dungeon sort of situation. And they don't really feature heavily in my thing, and also because most of what I think I do is manage my little dragons as they run around and do weird things in the world.
Are
I
the
tried
players your little dragons?
Yeah. And
Okay.
sometimes the NPCs are
chaos
also
dragons.
my little dragons. Everybody's a little dragon, and they've all got things that they want, and they're running around, and I have to try to herd them, and that's all I got. Overtime turtle makes.
Yeah, I started playing D&D in 2017.
Oh yeah, and then I my first DM thing was in 2020. Summer 2020.
Yeah, I started playing in 2017 when I shouldn't have. Not because of any societal things, just because of where I was in the world. My first real exposure to D&D was in medical holdover in Air Force basic training.
Probably not the best first experience into D&D.
Yeah, we didn't have dice. We used a TI-84. And somebody's mom had sent them a PHB and a DMG, and
you just go for it.
I remember next to nothing about what I played. I know at one point I played a ranger, and I crit twice in a row and shot a T-Rex in the eye, and then shot a T-Rex in the eye again and made it die. And
There you
one of
go.
our players played a chaos sorcerer named Mama Sue, and her thing was she had a bag of pebbles that she would throw at things and then cast wild magic on the pebbles. And she threw a potted plant at, I believe, a velociraptor.
Love that for us.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
so
great.
I think of the three of us, Sarah has the most impressive history.
oh, 100%.
Well,
Yeah, and then I started DMing in 2018 when all of this kind of started, and here we are.
When we started with the
The
podcast stuff,
podcast.
which,
Bah.
you know, happened.
down it.
Dink it, sink it.
It's still fucked up.
Yeah, I know. I tried to reset the counter, but the guy didn't video didn't change anything. So
Oh, Dose of Darling's D&D experience also began with Air Force, weirdly enough.
That is a fascinating fact that I would like to have more details on.
yeah, you and we're
Oh,
gonna have
Turtle Mama,
to
I'm so
chat about
sorry.
that.
Turtle Mama.
That's a horrible experience. Like,
Oof.
I would never. I have, to this point, I've only killed two characters, two PCs. It's okay. Oh, so sweet.
Not me and
Yeah,
the Air
I'm
Force folks inviting us to play were in the Air Force. Yeah, but still I want to know about how that happened. That you got invited to
drop
play D&D
your-
with a bunch of Air Force peeps. Like, excuse me?
This is a safe place. Drop your D&D, your first D&D experience in the chat. I
Love
want to
that.
hear about these. I don't know if you could call my impressive.
I would. I did. So
Thanks. Yeah, it's true. And I would never ask you to go back on your word. I know you wouldn't. So I was just sitting and watching my partner play D&D from like 2012 to 2016, 2015. And as we're moving into my apartment in Lincoln in 2015 from our college town, we just barely get internet to for me to be able to get onto YouTube and check to see what's like on, and lo and behold, there's a Geek and Sundry's on. I have no Felicia Day. I'll pop on what's this? Two fold out white tables of voice actors that are playing Dungeons and Dragons. Sure, why the
Cute.
hell not? I'll put that on while I'm unpacking. I sat glued to that TV for hours. My partner had to come to me and say, "Hey, do you want to keep staying up this late?" Yes, I do. I absolutely love this. When can we start playing Dungeons and Dragons? We started playing like the next week. And I wanted to know everything immediately, the same way that we all did, in this call right now, at least. I'm not going to speak for Chad.
I'll
And-
speak for chat. A lot of them are ADHD too. So yeah, we hyper focus the way that we hyper focus.
Yeah. But I like playing enough that I'm like, okay, I want to start like running something. I think running these like dragon things would be fun. So 2 weeks after we started, I was running what would end up being our only game from 2016 to right now, where we are still currently on this. They are at level 17. I have told them we are getting to level 20 and then some. And I like what you mentioned about like being a dungeon master versus a game master versus a storyteller, or I I like the phrase game runner. I have a contention with the word master to begin with,
Yeah.
which is a whole other box that I don't want to get into. But most of my experience is in 5th edition, but we've been playing Monster of the Week in another home game. There's a Fantasy Age system for Titan's Grave, and then all of these smaller little things that we've done some of on the channel, like Honey Heist.
Love Honey Heist. Honey
It's
Heist was
just
so
so
much fun.
cute.
So fun. Those are most of what I do. So I think personally, I call myself a game runner, because it's also, you're keeping everyone on skis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not railroading you. I'm just keeping you on that slalom.
I'm not railroading you. This is just the way the hill goes. It goes down.
I love the way that Brennan phrased that in the GM roundtable, where he's talking about, like, he talked about making sure that you're talking to your players and, like, understanding who the players are and what those players want. Because the character and the player are at odds with each other, because the player wants to tell a story, but the character wants to do something. And so he's like, the character is always trying to, like, the character is always trying to take the straightest path to their goal, but they're going to be sad if that path is straight. So you have to, like, throw in, like, windy, bendy things that eventually, like, they get to their path and they feel like they were always taking the shortest way, but when you like look back at it, there's, like, twists and turns, and it, like, you've, like, thrown these little things in it, and then it made the shape of a story while they were just trying to charge ahead. Like water.
I think it'd be interesting.
Like water, like a river, like the riverbed, like, breaks apart and, like, will make its own way.
Courtney, in some of the games that you've run or been a part of since you've been on the channel, can you think of anything, like, more specifically from what you've run?
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of any examples of trying to kind of shift the water back in one direction, or, like...
I think with the first little bit of the campaign that I ran, the first Snack Mom Takeover, the way that I started to run it was different than how I think my DM style ended up. Because when I started, I was like, this is going to be a short campaign. We're just going to do a little thing. And then I fell in love with everybody's characters, and I just wanted to know more about them. So I just kept, like, pushing everybody to think deeper about their character. And then I'm like, why are we making everybody think really deeply about a character that's supposed to be gone in 8 episodes? Like, it felt weird. And then, like, as I presented little bits, it became more than what the story that I thought I was telling entailed. And so I was like, I feel like I just want to wrap up this little section here, and then let y'all loose on the world. Because, like,
what a terrifying endeavor.
Yeah. But these characters, like, that's the thing that I learned. The number one thing that I learned as I was running the game was, like, yes, I have, like, a little story that I would like to tell. I have a little arc that I'd like to hit. I've got some enemies that I know are going to be in a place. Like, I've got these things. But really, I just want the characters to be able to explore things that they want to explore, too. Which has been really fun. And I like that. There have been... I mean, there's that one time when I brought you into Magic in the Midwest, and your character was just weird and then fucked off, and then I had to find a way to get you back in again. That's
that
about it. Yeah, that's the only time that I was really like, well, fuck. I was like, we could just I gotta find a way for them to get back in contact with this kid, clearly.
Yeah, that was
You
maybe.
Emily Axford me. That's what you did. You did
Sorry.
first episode of Fantasy
Yikes.
High. This is literally Fantasy High School, and Emily Axford said, "I don't want to go to school today." He's like, "You have to go to school. I will trick you into getting to school."
Yeah, you didn't have to trick me because, like, I wanted Rodney to meet those guys. It was just like,
Rodney's a weirdo.
he is. He's a weird dude.
Rodney's a weirdo.
And that was like his kind of just how he lives, especially with how he's had to come up since coming back to life,
Yeah.
like with the constant paranoia and the not knowing who to trust, kind of like it made sense character wise, even if it kind of fucked your story up a little.
Which it so did Fig wanting to not go to school that day. It made sense for her character. It was absolutely the correct character choice. It was also a pain in my ass. And both of these can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
Like the fact that
Sometimes
we're in
that's
one
the
of our
best choice.
the campaign that we're in, where I'm literally, my character just insults everything about your IRL world building.
Uh-huh.
It's the right character choice,
We've talked about that
but it's a pain in the ass. Sorry, Sarah, I started talking over you again.
Oh no, you're fine.
You remember what it was you were gonna say?
No.
Emily Axford does bother me sometimes. I've had my moments, but she grows on you.
Like, as a player, I thoroughly enjoy Emily Axford as a player and as a role player. But I think part of that comes from my initial introduction to her, which was through NADPOD, not D20. So I had a full arc of her and Jake Hurwitz and Caldwell Tanner,
and
with
her
Brian
husband
Murphy at the helm.
And her husband, Brian Murphy.
Yes. I had a whole, like, full campaign of them before I got into D20.
Yeah. Yeah, she some of the shenanigans go a little far for me sometimes, but
also, she's one of the most dangerous people alive if she has spell slots.
yeah, she is the thing is, I don't know if I would have as much fun playing at the table with her as I do watching her, which is fine. Like,
I can agree to that.
I don't think I just don't think that that's the kind of play style that I like to work with together. But she is a brilliant player. She is an insanely, like, she is so a brilliant comedian and a fantastic player. Like, she will learn the mechanics and throw the mechanics back at you.
Yes.
Which is, I love that in a player. I do. I truly do. But that's my 2 cents on things. Emily Axford is the best the best D&D player in the world, and she was sent from hell to ruin my life. Yes.
All of that is accurate.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, I feel that way about the people that I've invited to play D&D with me. So I was like, you are all very good Dungeons and Dragons players, and
Why?
it is ruining everything.
For me, it wasn't necessarily that you guys ruin everything. It's just there are certain things about your characters that make my job so much more difficult. Like, I don't know, Bub turning into a fucking pit fiend.
You allowed that to happen.
I did allow that to happen. You are correct. And I've spoken with Zach, and I will probably be taking
hot wife.
Hello. I need a taste test. Please. You know what you think?
Of the cherry Coke?
No,
Oh, okay.
because the sauce is different. It's like a.
Of
Oh,
the
yeah, it's
cherry
good.
Coke?
Make sure you get chicken in there too.
Cal is a benevolent DM.
I am. Sometimes, most of the time, to my own detriment.
Yes. Which
In
is
fact,
one of
almost
the
exclusively to my own.
pretty
detriment.
much, yeah, always. Which is one of the things that I did learn from you before doing that is like that there are times when I am definitely a benevolent DM where I'm like, yeah, tell me what feats you want, tell me what shit you want to add to your character. I want you guys to be super powerful. But also there are going to be several times when you're like, hey, can I do this ridiculous thing? And I'm like, I love you. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I have to.
You are very cute and very brilliant. Absolutely not. You're gonna break my world. I will not allow this to happen. I don't know if I've ever seen Sarah say no to something like that, though.
I've usually had a pretty. I've had some luck, and I've found good success in just following and yes anding, and then like, okay, so this is something that's super powerful and could break my game. Let's let them over succeed. What happens when a success turns into a failure? Yeah, you got the treasure, but what you've ended up doing is triggering a boulder that is now hurtling towards you at least 60 miles an hour. How are you going to get out of this?
I like that.
Yeah,
And I think that's one of the things that comes with the time that you've spent doing this. That like you're like, okay, I have a thing I can pull out for that.
I think a lot of it also comes from exploring other systems has been really helpful in like being able to just improv a consequence that I didn't necessarily think about, because Dungeons and Dragons can be so either open-ended, or if you're going by a book, extremely railroady. So it's nice to have some spaces that get like narrow down the window of opportunity and success for certain things.
I like that.
My friend's just eating.
My name is Snack Mom.
Yeah.
I am
Where's
Snack.
your food, Sarah? I'm eating dinner too.
I
And
had
Bird's
pizza.
probably eating sushi.
I hope she is.
Oh, they
You
found
found
their
your
dongle.
dongle!
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah, dongle.
Yes.
One thing that I've found recently, as you guys get stronger in Corvus and things progress, I have started to shift away from like the not necessarily hardcore, because I've never been a hardcore rules guy, not in D&D at least. One thing that I've kind of started doing is not necessarily having like set hit points specifically for creatures. I can't remember who. It might have been Brennan the Mulligan. He was talking about it, and he was talking about how combat is fun until it's not. So,
Yeah.
so I've tried to shift kind of more towards, almost more towards like a cinematic style of DMing, so that I can say, okay, yeah, you did 375 damage to this creature that I threw at you that only is supposed to have 140 hit points. But having it ignore that enhances both the fight, the player's experience, and then I can also choose to end it in a way that is more cinematic, like I said,
Narratively
or
satisfying.
exactly narratively sad. So
Yeah.
like specifically the two instances that I can think of recently were the Veldora fight and the Lilith fight. Trinity's character was the one who needed closure from Lilith, and the boys, excuse me, the boys were um, the ones who took down Veldora. And I kind of did that on purpose to add a little bit more narratively. But that's, I don't know, that's kind of the direction that I've shifted
Yeah. I
recently.
found that definitely I don't count damage for the first round. That I absolutely do not do. Part of why I do that is because then everyone gets a handle on this first round of combat. Everyone gets to sort of warm into the scenario that they're in and start to tacticalize around these like giant dragons. And then if you get like 2 or 3 rounds in and your your biggest enemy still has like half of its hit points and you know it's going to take like another 2 hours to take him down, honestly it's just going to be more satisfying to let the barbarian hit him when he gets that crit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily it's not rules as written, but it leans into the fun aspect of it and also reminds us that this is a game and it's very respectful of the fact that time is one of the few currencies in life that we do not necessarily have an exact grasp on.
Mm-hmm.
Especially us. We're neurodivergent and queer and just not, this is not, linear time is not among my specialties. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, if I will forgive not getting the exact right hit points down on the, god damn it, you're a messy man.
And
I'll forgive inaccurate hit points if like it lets me move on the narrative and still do cool shit with my character and also save my spell slots.
True. For me, because I haven't run a ton of combat. A lot of what we've done in most of my things is a lot of role play. We had like the demon combats in Magic in the Midwest, and we had the solar combat in the first takeover, which was a dream combat situation, which was really just play with your character skills.
Yeah,
that was literally the entire point of the fight, was fuck around,
find
out,
which we did.
And then we had just the last combat in which I mean, that was like my first real combat that mattered. And a lot of weird mechanical things kind of like... Weird things came into play that I didn't think would come into play, and it ended up being like a lot messier than I had originally anticipated. And it kind of made me like, okay, so this was fine as like this is my first campaign I've ever run, so I'm going to be really nice to myself and say, yeah, you did combat the way that the book told you to do combat, and that worked technically. But I definitely, I think there's something to be said.
It on a stream.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, I think there's something to be said for like the reason that a lot of us are doing these rules and like changing these things up is because what we're doing is creating something for other people to also watch and be entertained with. There's something to be said for if you're just having a home game and you've got people who really like to do the combat hit point. You got like your little minis, and everybody talks about how they're going. Like there's something to be said for that, and there's definitely value in that. I mean, like the battle royale was super fucking fun for me, and that's just a whole bunch of combat. Because I like narrative combats. I like it when people explain not just swing and a hit, swing and a miss. Do this. Like I want you to tell me exactly how you did it and describe it to me because I want to see it in my head too. And
That
so
was
that's
one thing. Oh, go ahead.
that's so like there's something to be said for like having the hit points and having that as a reference and like but the thing about character stats is that what you find you can change it. And you can apply this is one thing that I saw on TikTok recently that I like, it didn't like blow my mind, but it was like a weird thing that like clicked into place where I was like, you can use whatever stat block you want for whatever monster you want. You can say that this giant wolf that they encountered is the same stats as a velociraptor. Who gives a shit?
It's true.
Whatever you can just change how that looks for the thing or not. Like you can just use those things. You can.
No one's gonna stop you.
You can have your players approach a Hydra and it has beholder stats. Who gives no one's gonna stop you, and it's gonna fuck your players up a little bit because they thought they know what they were doing, which I like.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, which is why I like listening to NADPOD, because Brian Murphy is very good at like trolling through Kobold Press and finding new and weird monsters from Kobold Press.
I was like, what's
just...
that? I just use D&D Beyond a lot.
So
not sponsored, could be, but
please. Yeah, Kobold Press is like another. Oh, excuse me. It's like a D&D Beyond kind of thing, but they publish a ton of
Butterfinger ads. Mama got a Butterfinger ads.
Oh no!
That is amazing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you talking about this cool resource. I just got really excited about Butterfingers. I really want a Butterfinger now.
I really want to. I hate how much they get stuck in my teeth.
I know. I literally could not eat one right now because I just got my fake tooth put back in.
Oh, yay!
I have one. It's back. It's a permanent tooth again. It's not a little thing, so I can eat chewy things again tomorrow. Yay. But we just cemented it in today, so we cannot have Butterfingers or Chewy Chews.
Or Nutter Butters. Because those get stuck up in your teeth, too.
Yeah, you do get stuck up
I
in
really
your
like
teeth
Nutter
first.
Butters.
Me too.
They make them with double butter now. It's
Really?
not as good. It's fine.
I don't like double stuffed Oreos either. I think.
How dare you? I'm sorry. I love you. That's you could do that. You could absolutely.
I know that there are people who like the filling is the best part of the Oreo, but for me, the Oreo in its entirety is what I want. I don't want separate cookie icing cooking. I want all of it together, and I feel like the little bit of icing in a regular Oreo is the perfect amount to give it just a little extra sweetness to the chocolate cookie, and it's really, really good. Dunk them in milk.
Oh, if you do if you eat your Oreos dry, you're a psychopath. I'm sorry.
I'm a psychopath.
I hate you.
A psychopath.
We just don't keep milk in the house.
I do. I'm such a Midwestern
We're not like a
girl.
milk family.
Yeah, I
get
so
that. Midwestern.
If I didn't make smoothies, I wouldn't.
I just straight up drink milk.
I did that the other day, and I got so sick.
Such a Nebraska. I'm just such a Nebraska kid. The thing is, I don't remember drinking water as a kid.
I remember thinking it tasted bad because all I had growing up was milk.
Was tap water and milk, and so like I had milk and I had a lot of Kool-Aid.
I was not a Kool-Aid.
We were a
My-
Kool-Aid family. We made a lot of
We were-
Kool-Aid.
Will we?
We were a
Probably
Crystal
not.
Light family.
Cute.
Oh, that same. And I came from a traumatized family.
I didn't.
We might need to take milk out of
Debatable.
our diet, but we'll
I've
be.
I've run into my
Sorry.
traumas along the way. But no, we were a Crystal Light family, and so it was either Crystal Light,
You
and,
were
and
a
it
Crystal
wasn't
Light family. God damn
it wasn't a bunch of different kinds. It was pink lemonade.
Oh, we had.
It was pink lemonade, water, milk,
That was it.
I had
or
a
if you were
drawer.
my dad, it was Tang.
We had a drawer, like a silverware sized drawer that had several boxes that were like cut, like soda pop boxes that were cut short, and stacks of Kool-Aid packets in all kinds of colors and flavors. And anytime we ran out of the Kool-Aid, you make more Kool-Aid. You go in there, you take out 2 of the packets, and you get going. Sugar's right there. Scoop, scoop. Use hot water, stir it up, add a bunch of ice, more water, put it in the fridge. Every time. I did this so many times. We had a whole, just so many. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that drawer still has a whole bunch of Kool-Aid packets in it. My parents don't drink Kool-Aid. We don't make Kool-Aid anymore.
They need to.
But
They
I-
need to get rid of that drawer.
I also can't,
That's radioactive now.
I also don't recall my parents drinking water in front of me ever. Like my parents were soda
That's-
drinkers. My dad drank Diet Mountain Dew constantly.
My dad was a regular.
And
Mountain
then
Dew guy.
after 6 p.m., he would switch
Dairy is the
to
raccoon.
an uncaffeinated diet soda. And my mom had Pepsi all day, every day. And then
This
after
counts for
6
chat
o'clock,
too. Everyone drink some goddamn water.
Hang on, let me finish my noodles before I ask my wife to bring me more noodles.
everybody, yeah, and then mom had some sort of caffeine-free soda that they would drink in the evenings. But that was like, that's what you do. So the fact that I drink water is
The fact that you are alive right now.
the fact that you're alive is a miracle. Just
I
stay
already do that
alive.
myself.
That would be enough. It's
though?
not your fault I watched Hamilton on the 4th of July. It's Willow
Oh, that is
Keys'
the
fault.
only thing you should have done on the 4th of July. Thank you.
It's
You
Willow
can't-
Keys' fault that I
I
watched Hamilton on
took
the
a
4th
nap.
of July. I go bratty when I'm told to drink water. I appreciate that, Turtle Mama.
I
truly
know.
do.
If it didn't work, I wouldn't tell you to do it. I also hate this.
I also don't want me to be doing this.
I don't want to have to buy pH alkaline water. Does it make my body feel better? Yes.
This right here, this bottle right here, this lovely black hydroflow bottle, is currently filled with tap water from a fire station.
Why?
I don't know why that makes me so sad.
Because that's where I was when I
Shouldn't.
ran out.
At a
You were
fire
hydrated.
station?
Yes, at a fire station approximately an hour and a half from my house.
I have to buy strawberry watermelon flavor to drink it up. Yeah, I've got a variety of Mios that I use in order to get myself to trick myself into drinking water. A lot of lemonade ones. I got a strawberry watermelon. I've got I'll get like juices and I'll combine those with other juices. I gotta trick myself into drinking things. Otherwise, it has to be
Guys,
literally ice cold water. I can't have it.
guys, the moment we started talking about hydrating, we lost like 3 viewers. I watched it go down.
So anyway, Dungeons and Dragons. Fuck, we were talking. We were doing really good too. We were doing really good talking.
I just
about
care about
D&D
your
stuff.
well-being. Fucking sorry.
This is all your fault, Sarah, and not at all my fault.
Hey,
I
I
will
care
take
about the
ownership.
people that I love, which is why I make them play Dungeons and Dragons, because Dungeons and Dragons is fucking therapeutic.
It is, and also you,
I
if they're
talk about
doing
it
it
with
on
my
stream,
therapist.
you can make them drink
It's true.
or make them
yes.
want to drink.
Courtney, you talk about D&D with your therapist?
I do. Sometimes she gets a little annoyed with me for talking about D&D too much. But only when I'm using it as a tool to avoid talking about myself.
Ah, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
also annoyed when you do that.
Yeah. But you know, I feel like there's a thing when I'm talking about my characters and what happens in Dungeons and Dragons, in my brain, I'm talking about me.
I agree, and I think so, especially being the person that I processed my trigger warning, parental abuse and neglect, I guess. I processed through all of that, like through Dungeons and Dragons, and went through the realization of like, oh, this thing that I just wrote out for my character, that's like, this is a spooky, scary, traumatic thing for her. It's been very glaringly pointed out to me that that is exactly what my parents did to me, and then I have to sit there on the floor with these two little figurines in my hand and just go, why did I make me? Why did I make me?
I think there are definitely, and that's, I think every character that we make has to have a piece of ourselves in it.
Intrinsically.
Intrinsically, because otherwise, how are you going to play it?
Right.
How do you know what this character is like? How do you know how they're going to behave if you're not, if you don't understand? And yes, I am the character.
Turtle
If I'm talking about a character in a movie, it's because I relate with this character, and this character is me. And what this character went through, and what this character said, and how this character, like, that's me.
It's reflected in some portion of my life.
And I mean, this probably comes from, like, you know, being the millennial kid that was raised by the television because both my parents work. And like that's the only way that I processed things for many, many years was just associating it into whatever media I was consuming.
Escapism.
Yeah. And
same.
So I naturally tend toward that escapism. That's part of why I have such a hard time watching television shows and stuff now. Unless it's something that I've already seen or am familiar with. Or that I care about, like, the actors or something. Like, I have to already be pre-invested in it before I can watch it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the escapism of that anymore.
Yeah.
And if I'm not getting the escapism out of it, I don't see the point.
Because we've been able to find escapism in a way that is constructive. We've been able to build a space where we can escape,
yeah,
while still,
but it's not
self-improving. Like we're still working through projects. We're like not
Birds,
projects.
you and
we're
I
still
have
working through
so
things.
much in common. Birds, you are me 5 years ago. It's okay, sweetheart.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have you, Lav. Like, Birds, it's gonna be great. Like, truly. But it's we've created spaces in D&D where we can find community in escapism, that like we can sort of pull these layers back, and then we can present this like gross little nugget of something that was rejected by someone at some point, and we learned to hide it, and we learned to not take responsibility for it and not like it, but instead cover it up and then make it presentable. With D&D, we can create these characters where we're able to pull the layers back, offer up that gross little nugget to friends and say, hey, it's a gross nugget. And they go, this is a gem. What are you talking about?
Or they go, look at this little at what you gave me, the Widow Nugget. Did you make this? Like,
Yes, I made it right here.
I made
with my
it.
kidney.
I maked it. I maked you these.
I made you these stones.
and
They
that's
came out
the
of my
thing.
urethra.
They came from my urethra. I think a lot of what I talk about with my therapist and the benefits, a lot of the benefits that I get from D&D do come from the role play element, in that it creates a safe space to practice things that you want to bring into your real life. Because role play has been a major part of like psychological development and therapy forever. Like that's literally what therapy is. You are role playing a relationship with someone. You are practicing developing a relationship with someone who is specifically and explicitly there to assist you. So it gives you a safe space for you to practice out conflict and for you to practice out how asking for the things that you need and advocating for yourself. It gives you the safe space for it. And then we created that inside of a new fake world. So I can take a little piece of myself that I've been thinking about and wanting to explore, or something that I've realized that I've been hiding from myself for years because something happened that made me feel ashamed of a part of myself and made me suppress it. And now I can take this part out and I can put it out there, and I get to practice being that in a way that doesn't feel like it's going to impact my personal life in a scary way.
Yeah.
So like for a lot of gender expression things have come out for me
I was
in
gonna
Dungeons
say
and Dragons. I mean that's
it's
the
how
story of a lot of
I
people.
realized.
Yeah. And I agree, Coda. I don't think it's even just been that too. I think a lot of, like, for example, the first character that I played, Naoma, I was playing at a time when I had lost who I was. I had just gotten out of a really shitty long relationship in a really shitty job that treated me like garbage. I had gotten out of this situation and I had lost connection with who I wanted to be because I was so busy trying to force myself to be what other people wanted me to be. And I was at the point where I was trying to like, okay, no, I'm returning to who I am. And then my non-partner at the time, Anthony, he is my partner now. He was not my partner at the time. He pretty much was my partner at the time, but I was not acknowledging that.
Everyone else was.
Everyone else was like, you're gonna date, and I was like, no, we're not. This is fake. Anyway,
It's fake.
it's safer if it's fake.
Hey, Wiggly.
Hi, Wiggly Watchman. So when I was building Naoma, I was building who I wanted to have been and who I thought that I was going to be when I was little. And by creating her and putting her out in the world and being able to play as her, that helps me get back in touch with like who I thought I was going to be and who I am now. And who I like it also, like, I got to embrace the parts of myself that I was scared to embrace because of the things that I had gone through with the people that I had gone through, because both of the situations that I was in with my job and with my boyfriend wanted me to mute myself.
Yeah. There was a lot of asking you to reject who you were.
To be less.
To get like a base level of respect, mind you.
Yeah, just
And
to get
we
a
don't
base
fucking
level
do
of
that
respect, I had to be less. And
To get aggressive.
then I got, and so we had the shitty first experience with 3.5 playing with Naoma, so that was sucky, but then I got the chance to, like, when Cal posted on Facebook, hey, anybody want to join a D&D campaign? And I was like, hey, yes. But then I got to go into the situation in which it was Naoma the magic girl and her demonic beings of chaos.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% what the first Lyra campaign was.
And I got to be the face. I got to be the voice. I got to practice being the charismatic person that I grew up being. The person who I like can acknowledge that about themselves. Like that's the number one thing that everyone told me when I was younger is like that I was never afraid to be myself, and that they were so like jealous of that they wished that they had that. And then I like, shit happens, but you had to get back to that.
You grow up.
We grow up. Shit happens. There's the Aries Mercury. Yeah, birds. But yeah, it's so I got to play Naoma and practice being myself and who I thought I would be. And then I got to play Idra and practice being a being of absolute chaos. And I got to be Phyllis and be the over-organized preppy librarian that I am inside. And I got,
To be fair, you only got to live out that fantasy for a couple of episodes.
I did. But that's okay. I did get to bring Phyllis back for one of Garrett's things.
Yes,
I brought her back for that. For the
cleaning out the wizard's shed.
Yeah, the wizard shed one. I got to bring Phyllis back, which I loved. But yeah, I all of the characters that I made, I get to explore a piece of myself. And in doing so, I get to heal myself more.
Yeah.
Without really like consciously trying to.
There's been a lot of talk about why Dungeons and Dragons has become so popular in the past 6 years especially, or 4 years especially, but over the course of the last 6 years. And it going from demonized to looked down on to normalized to encouraged to we ain't the only D&D channel out there.
Clearly.
Also, go support some of the other ones.
There's several that are doing really cool stuff coming up too. Worlds Guild is doing cute stuff today too. I think I want to try to raid into them when we're done. Just I'm saying that out loud so I don't forget.
Pixel Circus is also playing right now.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But that's a big reason why it's Dungeons and Dragons is something that has become more and more popular, is because we're realizing that it's more than just a game. It's at some level a spiritual practice. You are creating a being, you are birthing it from nothing, and then you are bringing it into the world with your energy, with whatever you bring to it. You're responding to a moment and giving it a full story, a full life. It does allow us this space to play out so many different things that can heal us. They can give us perspective that we might not have been able to see otherwise. I think Dungeons and Dragons is an excellent tool for bringing communities that are currently at odds with each other to spaces where they can see and understand each other, and understand that some of the things that they recognize are wrong in the game, but may not recognize that it's wrong outside of the game. They can then sort of apply and shift those parallels to, oh, it's not okay that I'm talking about people like this. I need to change that. And it's this state of self-improvement, but it's in a game, so it also fires off the dopamine. I see notes and I want to hear them before I go off.
I just wanted to, that is one of my absolute favorite things as a DM to see. I love watching, as I take these players on these journeys, and along the way I can see subtle things about the character start to become more real about the person, like the player. And I can see generally by the end of it, especially if it's a longer campaign, I see a lot of growth as player, yeah, but also as person. Like you, I love it. It's just the things that I see, um, the growth that I see in people as they find more out about themselves, or like, they have that little aha moment in the middle of a session one night or something. And it's just, I don't know. I've always said that I loved being a part, or I love watching someone achieve their goal and knowing that I was a part of the journey. And that is one thing that this space and that D&D in general has given to me. It's given me the opportunity to be a part of so many, just a field of growth.
Hmm.
And I love that. That's why I don't really mind being a DM more than a player.
Oh God, I love it.
I
I
that
will
is
be
something I want to
100%
know about
honest.
you guys, because I most of the time for you guys I noticed that you guys prefer that space, and I could go either way depending on who's running me. Because I truly enjoy being a player, um, and being able to to specifically dive into that specific psyche and play around in that headspace. Um, that's that's me also, like, being a theater kid and wanting to be on stage
Mhm.
all the time. And I when I was in elementary school, I was gonna be a pop star. So like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
um, I'm so sorry, Bubba, but your spot is kind of not available right now.
When I was a kid, I was going to be a firefighter who did karate.
I
And
was
now
gonna
I,
You
win
could have. Were
American
you
Idol.
gonna chop the fires?
no,
Were you gonna fight the fires with karate?
no, I was just going to be both of those things. They didn't have to be mutually exclusive.
Okay. I was just curious. I was just curious if there was a dream of being a firefighter who fought the fires with karate. Just
No,
believing
Karate
in
chop
your
the
ability
fire.
enough
no,
to fight the flames.
Baby.
I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z as a kid. Fitting that I'm wearing the shirt. Um,
Did you now? I couldn't
watched a
tell.
ton of it when I was a kid, and so excuse me. So part of, I guess, part of me growing up was wanting to be one of these dudes. Like, I do karate, I fight all the time, I can be super powerful, blah blah blah. And to go back to a prior note, I think that's part of where Raksha came from. Because
Well,
he
you
is
told me
this,
Raksha was Gara, essentially.
yeah,
Now that
the
I'm
That's an
watching
build,
anime.
Naruto, I like, I.
yeah, the build for Raksha was definitely Gara, but I feel like a part of me growing up and watching things like this kind of, I don't know. I think that might be why I have a tendency towards more violent characters.
And violent stories.
Hmm.
But, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's.
I mean, everyone's got their trope.
Yeah, I was
Like
like,
this is a thing that I've noticed is that every my trope is a parent abandonment and either getting some sort of violent revenge on those parents or having that be like a core part of the character. Like everyone's got a trope.
so my trope will alter. I've just now realized that it's one of two tropes for every single one of my characters.
Yeah.
Um, Desperately wants to be accepted by everyone and will do everything in their power to help other people. Has immediately rejected everybody else. Does not give a shit what anybody else thinks about them and will do whatever they want all the time. There's no in between.
It's Naoma and Idra.
Yeah, it's either Naoma
Yeah.
or Idra. Phyllis, Naoma. Sherry, Idra. Addie, Naoma.
Yeah, Turtle Mama. You play a few and you start to see the pattern of like, oh, this is my third character, and yeah, it's my third rogue because I'm a forever rogue. Don't fucking at me.
At Yodi.
Uh,
Get out of here.
At Yodi.
Yodi is Idra.
Yodi is definitely
Yodi's an Idra.
character.
They're either a Naoma or an Idra. Yodi's an Idra.
He was an Hydra.
Yeah.
But like you start to see these patterns of like, oh, okay, that's what I keep doing this. And then hopefully you go to therapy and you realize as you're talking to your therapist that, oh, I'm doing those things because of an unreleased trauma, and now I
Those
can
are-
release this trauma through D&D.
Those are the two extremes that I vacillate between in my life of accepting who I am. Is either I really want people to accept and love me, or fuck everybody, and I really got to find that happy middle ground. I think I'm getting closer with Quartz. I think Quartz is probably the closest I've got to not falling directly in one of those two categories. Because Quartz is nice and helpful, but not as smart as my other characters who are usually also nice and helpful. So he's less helpful than he would be. You know? Because my characters were wise and charismatic and intelligent, so they're able to like assist people in doing all of achieving their goals and also being nice. But Quartz is just charismatic and not smart or wise. So he wants to be helpful, and he can do that by being strong, but that's about it.
That's about it.
And he can do Buffy spells because that's what Paladin does, but that's like. So I get this is kind of the first time that I'm getting into playing something that's in between what my usual dichotomy is.
I think that's you asked if there were reasons for preferring to be like mostly a game master.
Hey, there's
and
me
story
forgetting my
runner.
own question. Yes,
I got you.
I love you.
I love you too. I think that's part of the draw of it is that, and full disclosure, part of this is also coming from the privileged state that I have of I've been doing this what is essentially full time for 6 years. This hasn't just been a hobby. I have spent my 8-hour work days like writing and prepping and learning and all of that. So like being able to go deep and being forced to, in a sense, go deep on like some really critical characters at times. Sometimes you just make up a character and then these idiots are like, okay, I guess we're gonna stick with this one forever. Okay, fine, I guess I'll give him a personality. I didn't want to give him a personality, but now he's gonna have a personality. Because you have such a plethora of characters that you have the availability to find those extremes and different middle grounds. I think for me that's been what the draw is. It's been able to do everything that you do as a player, but more. And sometimes the players won't know that you did it.
I like that. That's cute.
I don't know that I necessarily have a trope as a player yet. I've only played like 3 characters.
Oh, you've devoured a cheeseburger. Welcome, darling.
Courtney's laughing at me.
Well,
like
you
I
make
do
that
have a
noise.
trope.
Because it starts out silly and then they end up being super powerful. You make characters that are almost a joke, and then they turn into something because you yourself do not want to take yourself too seriously out of fear that you're going to fail.
And then you realize that you're succeeding, so then you start to take
So then
yourself,
you start
realize,
take
oh
yourself.
yeah, I have
then
to
you
take
allow
myself
yourself
seriously.
to be more powerful and take yourself a little
Hey.
bit more seriously.
Hey,
Well, shit, I guess
is
we're in
this-
therapy
is
tonight.
Is this relating to any part of your life right now?
So anyway,
Anyway,
you said I don't have a trope, and I said, yeah, you do. And I didn't even know what was going to come out of my mouth, but I knew that that was it.
Therapy time.
Anyway, so sometimes I do. I'm a therapist channeled by the universe. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later. Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna
do not remember what I was talking about.
You weren't sure if you have a trope, but what?
I know I have a writing trope.
You have a writing trope, yes.
What's your writing trope?
What do you
I
write,
was
campaigns?
I write campaigns, and all of them, they're just dark. Like, they're fun, but they're fucking dark, dude.
Listen, bud,
I've tried to write.
Every single campaign is like, hey, things are great. Things are incredibly fucked up. Out of nowhere, everything has gone entirely wrong, all at once, and it's literally the most fucked up shit you've ever seen in your life. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
That
I've
reminds
tried
me
to
of-
write levity. I've tried to write fun. I can't. I don't know what it is.
It's
but
a skill. It's definitely a skill. Because after getting to the point where I was unhappy with running a module and my players were unhappy with what was going on, and I was like, okay, fuck it, let's take this show off the rails. And I threw them into a small dungeon that was a single devotee to Loth, and it was a drow. But what I had decided to do, because I was also I was reading the first Drizzt book at the time, and there's a lot in that book about matriarchs versus the men in drow society. So I was sitting there and I was playing around with different ideas, and I like go in and I give my players this dungeon, and they go through and they find the diary that I planted that tells this whole story about how the warlock the sorcerer that they had just defeated was transgender, dressing in a way that their society would not have approved of. That was why they got exiled to the surface world and why they were here, and they had opened a portal to the chaos dimension that a shadow dragon then ran into. Following this, I gave them a blue dragonborn who was taking men from the village nearby and turning them into scarecrows for his livestock and farms and such. But the village was okay with it because these men were abusive. Both times my party members went, huh, I guess this is done. And they left. So it happens.
And then they just left. So, you know.
And then they just go, I guess we're not going to deal with that. I guess that's fine.
Damage. Exactly. Wait, did that come out?
He's so
I
small.
don't think I remembered to turn. I don't think I turned on sound alerts. Did you guys hear a sound alert? Tell me
I
in
didn't,
the chat.
but I have stream muted.
Yeah, tell me in the chat if you heard a sound alert, and if you didn't, I will fix.
Chat, go off.
Nope. Thank you,
Nope.
Joseph Darling. Appreciate you. I was like, I don't think I added that in my thing.
Gotta fix it.
So what I gotta do.
All of the
I
things
wondered
are
why you
broken.
got so quiet. It was a focused quiet. I was like, something is either wrong.
Me?
Yes.
Yes. I only get quiet if I'm focusing. Oops. My sound alerts browser source is offline. Why?
It does that sometimes. Usually you just log out and log back in and you'll be fine.
I shouldn't do that.
I can have my browser source.
Your cat shouldn't be yelling at you either.
Yeah, well, What else is new? My cat is always yelling at me.
See what-
Or he's
doing
sleeping
food.
on me. Look at him.
Yeah, him slip.
Him slip.
So yeah, that's why those are also why I, as a game master, exclusively use safety tools.
Safety tools are a very good thing.
They're so important. They're so important, and I'll be honest, any person that's like, nah, we're not gonna use safety tools because we're all adults, that's a red flag.
That's not a
Mm.
table I want to be a part of.
It's a
Yeah.
red flag, y'all.
I mean, I understand, like, people who have, like, known each other for a long time and we're getting together and we all know each other's limits in general, like, not needing to explicitly do a thing. But if you're going into a new table, no.
Expect and ask for safety tools.
Yeah,
if
red flags.
they
Thank
aren't
you,
being
Dose.
given to you.
She's a criminal. Turtle Mama, that is what we do here. There's a reason that when we go live, I make sure that we're tagged ADHD.
Yeah.
It's because of this.
I didn't used to do that, and then you started doing it, and now I just don't change it.
Because I put it in the settings that it automatically applies. Because the thing is, we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it influences the way that we play and the way that we run things. So,
And we're not on a closed set. Like if we were at the point where we're gonna be in a few years, because god damn it, y'all are too good. Y'all are too good to not be showcased. If we were on like a closed set, it'd be different.
yeah.
I would
I
agree with
agree.
that.
Hello there.
I see the focus face.
Did we get
Did
it?
you guys hear that one in chat? Ah.
You know what I could also do is turn up the volume on my thing
Oh shit! Yeah, I can do
and
that
see
too.
if I can hear things. I do it one more time.
While troubleshooting is happening, if you have any friends that you think would like this chaotic content, go tell them to find us and give
Yep,
us a
it's
follow.
working now. I fixed.
Absolutely.
I'm in
Um,
danger.
We do need to update our goal numbers
Oh,
because we're at 128 and 27.
when did that happen?
Oh fuck.
How is my thing? Why is my thing not counting it? That's what's bugging me. Because it should have counted it if it was happening.
I know not,
Streamlabs, fix your shit.
Yeah,
your shit.
Streamlabs.
but also maybe sponsor us.
It's the only
Sponsor
way to
us so then
fix
we can
this.
critique your software and help you make it better.
Speaking of
Everything.
sponsors, since we're
Oh my god.
in a position
Have
right
we
now,
announced this on stream yet?
Mm-mm.
I don't.
We
think
have 20. Sorry, it's 27
It's 1,
subs.
2 128 and 27.
27 subs. Okay.
So Amateur Hour picked up another sponsor. If you look at the Nightbot has been so kindly dropping the
Ow, I had so
the
many
Discord and the
so good.
socials and everything. The first link should take you to
Oh.
our new sponsor, Dubby. It's an energy drink company. I haven't tried their stuff yet. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But Amateur Hour is the code. Take
Stream
that first
Daddy is
link.
good for exactly nothing. Yes.
Yeah. Jump on over there. Check them out. Use code Amateur Hour for I think 10% off.
I think
Same
so.
thing with King's Coast
I'm
Coffee.
pretty sure, yeah. 27 and
Most of the stuff you
after-
find in a Monster Energy drink, you're gonna find in here.
Yeah.
Taurine, glutamine, vitamin B's.
Yep.
Again, full disclosure, have not yet tried it.
Okay, now I fix. It's better. Okay.
I'm proud of you.
Is fa-
It's fixed.
It's
I
fixed.
fix is fixed now.
Excuse me.
Also, I'm really proud of the screen that I made today
It looks great.
for our little layout, our little TV show.
I like our little TV show.
I'm going to put everybody's screen names and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Screen names and channel titles.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'm so grateful you're a vibe curator.
As am I, because I would not have been able to curate any of these vibes.
I was like, I also am, because I do enjoy the curation of vibes.
Vibe curation.
It's what I do. Oh, my cats are in love.
Also,
My dog's
Bert
asleep
says you're
somewhere.
the number one dad.
I am the number one dad.
It's true. You are.
Snack mom.
Fun fact. Oh,
We
You
need to
good?
get. What I need to get is that you remember that silhouette of your bearded face that was the logo for a while?
yes.
I need to get just the solo silhouette of your face so I can
Of
make
the
you a
beard.
Game Daddy emote that is just your emote because me and Sarah have one. I have a Snack Mom. They have Thembo Tour Guide. We got to make a Game Daddy that's just Game Daddy.
Just,
Just the beard.
Yeah, just
the
your
head.
little face that says Game Daddy.
Your dumb mug.
With your
Sorry.
Hey,
my
my
with your
mug's not
big
that
dumb
bad.
mug. It is big though.
Yeah, it is. Got a fat ass head.
I knew you weren't gonna argue.
Why would I argue the truth?
Why would I argue the truth? Okay, so I think that's
Why
good
are you
and I don't
booing
need
me?
that
I'm
anymore.
right.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
I want a mug that just says dumb on it.
A big mug that says dumb.
You bitch.
What is that? It's my big dumb mug.
It's my big dumb mug.
Slap a bow on it. It's now your big dumb mug.
So opens Canva.
God damn it.
Create a design.
I was just about to ask if you guys happen to have a least favorite thing about D&D.
Ooh.
Least favorite thing about D&D?
Not once in my life.
No, because
have
we're
I
really
ever.
stroking its dick tonight.
I mean, shit.
But
Oh my god.
but I do.
You okay?
It caught me off guard.
But I do.
Okay, anyway. Continue.
I agree with Turtle Mama.
What
That's
did I
not
do?
necessarily true.
Math.
I like small arithmetic. That's actually why I like Dungeons and Dragons, and why it was one of the things that I was like, oh, I DMs that get pissy when their players don't do what they want. I like Darlings. Least
Yeah.
favorite thing about D&D.
Yeah, I think that's one of like the only things. It's not even like things that D&D did wrong. Although, okay, I'll say some of the established canon lore and the way that they treat certain things is problematic.
Yes.
And generally in its development, it lacked diversity. It has been slowly
Yes.
improving upon that as it has continued to grow and become more popular, like mainstream. But
And as diverse voices are standing up and saying, hey, I
Hey.
deserve to be represented.
Hey, did you know that just because a character's skin is darker doesn't mean they should be considered evil? Weird how that works. Hashtag Drowse. So, uh, yeah. So I think that would probably be one of the main ones for me. But
S- One of mine, one of the bigger ones that I've got is, it's not so much now. That's not what I wanted to say. It's not so much in the circles that I am a part of, but um, really gatekeepy. If you don't do it this way, you're wrong.
yeah,
Like hard stuck people like that.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are a lot of them.
And
Not trying to call anybody out, like in chat.
well,
I
and
don't know.
that's who the Dungeoners Guild or that's who the like legitimate isn't the right word. But like if you go to your local game shop on like a Sunday or a Saturday, they'll have like a GM that will run everything rules as written. You can hop in Adventurers Guild.
there we go.
Yes.
That's what it is. Like there is Adventurers Guild for that. I think exact thing. But I
Turtle
don't
Mama.
necessarily want to do that in my
Yeah.
in my home game.
Also, Turtle Mama, I think one of the things that I'm planning on doing. God damn. There we
Bless
go.
you.
One of the things I'm planning on doing with my channel is starting to do like D&D lessons where we kind of break down a lot of the mechanics that happen in D&D into smaller chunks so that you don't have to hyper focus on it because I already did.
Yeah.
So like I'm don't mind me as my teacher brain outlines curriculum to prepare. But yeah, I'm planning on doing something like that. So like if you want to follow me at Cordy Danielle on Twitch, I'm thinking about doing Friday night D&D lessons. And then Sunday morning I want to start a thing that I'm calling
Laugh, don't tempt me.
I think you should too, Lav. I'm starting a thing that I'm calling church.ppt.
Yes.
That is just Sunday mornings preaching about whatever random hyperfixation people decided to make a PowerPoint about. I got to get my first team together for it, but it's going to happen. You probably weren't following me yet because I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, the majority of anything that we do is on this channel.
Most of what we do is on this channel. It's just those little side gigs that I've been thinking about and I haven't really wanted to dive into until I took some of the Game Daddy stuff off of my plate. Because I was doing a lot. Because Cal was doing too much before me and he just didn't tell anybody. Anyway.
Sorry.
We're getting better at asking for help and delegating, which is making it a lot easier to grow the channel and do things that.
And the thing, it gives more
We
opportunity for us to do the things that we like, and it also gives us an opportunity to bring more people into the family, which is what I love.
Yeah.
As much as like, okay, so yeah, the math part of D&D, and there are a lot of flaws with humans that play the Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily the problem of Dungeons and Dragons. What I am most grateful for in Dungeons and Dragons is not necessarily the game itself, but all the things that the game has given me. And I am obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons.
Fair to say.
You kidding me? I made this like my full-time job for 6 years. No one's paid me to do this.
Right.
No one's asked me to put this much effort in.
Right. And like I talk about this with my therapist. When people ask me about my life, I tell them about Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have like everything else in my life has just been like, oh, that doesn't matter. That's fine. This though, not everything else. That's not true. That's not true. But this is something that like I've become very, very, very passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's still like the value of Dungeons and Dragons doesn't come from the game or the established lore or anything that anybody else can give you. The gift of Dungeons and Dragons is that it's a system that you get to make your own. It's here is a set of rules that you can operate within. Go play. Which, as the kid who, when we were little, always had somebody else trying to one-up them on the playground, I appreciate having rules and boundaries. Because you don't get to have cooler powers than me just because you made your character after I made mine. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That actually leads into a question from chat. Tonks wants to know how you run a homebrew without spending your entire life preparing.
That is a question not for me.
Yeah.
Because I borrowed other people's worlds and played with them.
I mean, I can start on this one just because everything that I've run has been homebrew. All of the settings, I even did a pantheon of gods. Like, everything that I do is it's prepped, but it's homebrew.
Yeah.
And eventually there comes a point in either fleshing the world out or trying to go through the story in your head. Like there's a certain point where you have to stop and say, this needs characters. Like that has been one thing for me. Like I'll get to a certain point in prepping everything, and then I'm like, this I personally can no longer enrich this.
Yeah. This
needs...
story as it is will not be made better just by me sitting here and writing it. What I need are people that are going to be in this space and in this world and then respond to that, so then I can have a space to respond to that.
Mm-hmm. So Tonks, at least for me, I love homebrews. I like to build worlds and everything. But once I get to a point where like I said, I can't enrich the story anymore, that's when I know that I can run it and it'll be fun. It just sometimes you just have to go in head first. You just have to say, okay, here's something that I want to do, here's a story I want to tell. Do it.
And
yeah.
I think that also kind of one of the things that Brennan Lee Mulligan talked about with the way that he has to run things because of the way that like Dimension 20 is set up and how they shoot things for their actual plays, that like he prepares maybe 30% of the world and then gives it to the characters for their character design, and then what they come up with is how he designs the rest of the game.
Yep.
And like the way I'm saying this because I think that's a fascinating thing, but it's specific to Dimension 20 because the way that they have to run things, because they are an actual play show that is produced. I'm pointing that out because Brennan Lee Mulligan is not necessarily railroady, but has very like,
he has plot points.
He has to
follow him through.
He has to, and he's really, really good at leading the characters into the right spot, and all of his players are really good at biting the bait. Mm-hmm. But that's because they took 2 months of talking about their characters before they shot anything. Yeah. Like these people, when they stepped onto the stage, they had been practicing in these characters for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which I think we have a unique setup because we as game masters offer this troop of players worlds that I think are 30% done and 30% like totally ready to go, and the others 70% is it's going to be good enough and I can trust myself to get it together in the moment and to even say like, that's a great question, give me 5 minutes to respond to you. Along with that, like, we don't necessarily get 2 months to sit and talk about characters the way that Brennan can, the way that
Matt and
Critical
all
Role
the
is able, the way that Matt is able to do it, because we're babies. We haven't been, guys, do you realize we haven't been doing this for a year, a solid full year yet?
that we've been doing it consistently. Yeah.
And like,
I mean, we've been streaming for a while.
Yeah.
We've been doing it, but not like branding and like committing.
Yeah.
It was like, this was like, oh, this is a fun thing we do when we stream sometimes. But like going full in and committing and bringing in people who are dedicated and shit.
so like, I think it's also a unique space to have where we're presenting a world, we're presenting plot points, but we're also sort of keeping fingers crossed that some of these things will get bit on, that some of this bait will get taken, because I'll be honest, in Cygnus A, there's a lot of different things that I've had to put out there, especially because you guys aren't players that are my home game that I've been playing with for 6 years. It's been a unique experience learning like what activities, what social situations different players will take the hook on, and how their actions will then, like, we'll get off a stream and all go, well, that's nowhere anywhere I was expecting us to go. We got to the plot points, we got to everything that we needed to go to, so like I don't need to change my story, but there's so many other different things that there's no way I could have prepared for, and like it's just gonna have to be something that I bring in fresh next week.
Yeah, I think you just have to be ready for shit to go wrong, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
Nothing can only be found in one spot. That's nothing can only be found in one place, because if it can only be found in one place, they're never going to find it.
At least 3.
Like there were
At least
several
3.
like and that was one of the first things that I learned in running the first Snack Mom takeover, was I had information that I was like, okay, these are the places where they can get information, these are the people who have this information, and then you did not do what I thought you were going to do, and you didn't fail the things that I thought you were going to fail, and nothing worked the way that I thought it was going to. And I was like, okay, so that's not how that works. Instead, other people would probably have this information. So, or there's another way that this person can figure out that you're not what you are saying that you are, because you are ridiculously good at lying. Yeah, that's the first thing that your players teach you as a DM. No matter what you come into the campaign with, no matter how much you have prepared, it is not going to go the way that you planned. And this leads us back into therapy, because that's one of the things that my therapist has pointed out has improved for me a lot since I have started, because she knew me before I started DMing too.
Mm-hmm.
And she has seen that improvement in me since I started DMing of being like, there is shit that you cannot control, and you can be upset about it if you want to, but it's kind of a waste of time because you're gonna have to keep doing other shit too. Like there are things that are you're gonna plan things out, and that's great. And it's not that you shouldn't have planned it. It's a good thing that you planned it, because in planning those things, you've understood your world a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
But
Understood what you want.
you understood what you want a little bit deeper. You've understood some of your characters and some of the things that happen, the mechanics of your universe, a little bit deeper in planning these things. However, yes, Denver Drew. Also, welcome, Denver Drew.
Whoa.
Don't paint yourself into the corner of a single outcome scenario, as it goes south quickly. Yeah, it's... And even if you have, like, multiple outs, it's just, like, you have to realize that, like...
Even if you have multiple outs.
You
Even
don't...
if you have
This...
multiple outs.
You have no control here. This is not... No one has any control here. We specifically gave up control to these stupid click-clacky math racks. Okay? This is what controls my game. Guess what? I have a crush on you now.
That's how it happens.
Sometimes
You
that's
can
how that
never-
works.
No matter how much you plan, you can never account for
Everything.
the actions of other people.
And that's
specifically
true in
people
real
you
life.
know who are pretending to be parts of themselves.
And that's true in real life and in the game. You cannot account for everybody else in the world. You are only responsible for what you have.
When I was running the third arc...
Too
of
late, I already
my
have a
home
crush
game,
on you first.
well, we're all correct.
We're all correct.
Uh,
I'm gonna go dark, but I'm still here.
I believe you. In the third arc of my home game, I was super excited. I finally understood the game. I finally understood what my players were wanting. I finally understood what their mechanics were, what they could do. And we were moved away from the module, and I was in a space where I felt like I really had a good handle on things. I spent hours of the week pouring into this binder, a literal binder of notes that I was so proud when everyone came in. All 5 of my players come in and they sit down and we start playing, and we get 15 minutes into it, and as the 15 minutes starts and moves on further and further and further, it dawns on me that, oh, they're not going to do a single thing that I had potentially prepped for. So as my party is sitting there gently talking amongst themselves, I just very, very quietly take my notebook and they'll stop for a minute and they're like, what do we do? No, you didn't do anything wrong. Keep going. That's just unnecessary now.
Hello, motherfucker.
Thanks for the follow.
Hours of a week gone.
Hi, Drew.
Yeah. I've definitely
You
had
said
to get
binders,
used
and that
to-
reminded me the first thing that I was going to run was Candyland Adventures for a couple of little girls. This was before I was ever DMing on this channel, and I was just teaching these little girls how to play D&D. And I remembered, I've got everything, like I took the Candyland board and I like broke it down into like, I've got chapters, I got like all this stuff set up, all this, all these like monster cards in the back. This has just been sitting on a shelf for years.
But I want to do it.
Yeah, we can absolutely do this. Candyland is absolutely going to happen.
Yay!
I think I genuinely want to run a Candyland for kids, too.
Yes.
I want to run one for adults because what adults would do in Candyland is hilarious, but I also just genuinely want to watch little kids run around in Candyland. Yeah, we'll do it. I mean, I've got some things already set up. Oh, by the way, just so you guys get to see the adorable, so this is one of their characters folders.
Cannot see it.
Character's name is Stephanie. They got their little character sheet in here that I put on D&D Beyond. I gave them spell cards, and they have little notes that they take themselves, and they have a little notebook that they can draw in. It's very cute.
Oh, Denver Drew, I use the Hero Kids D6 system with my little kiddos. Works great.
I've been looking into that too.
Yeah, she meant legitimate Candyland.
Yeah, like actually literal Candyland board
he
game.
was not fucking around.
But the thing, so the reason why we were going specifically D&D with these kids was because they had watched Stranger Things and really, really wanted to try it. So they were like, they had watched Stranger Things and they were like, oh, D&D sounds cool. I want to try D&D. And they mentioned that to me when they were talking about Stranger Things. And I was like, you guys know that I play D&D, right? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And so I put this little thing together. We played a couple of times and it was pretty fun. But, yeah, did not.
Can I mention what might be? I don't know if this is going to be a hot take. I don't know if this is going to be a controversial opinion.
I never know if my opinions are going to be controversial, so.
And then sometimes they are. It's like,
Sometimes
I
they
didn't
truly are, and
do
I was like,
that.
oh, okay, well.
Oh, I just like to do this.
I just
Okay.
I thought that was everybody, but no, okay, well.
Not enough D&D for me in the show. Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, not enough.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Not
No,
enough.
I'm definitely.
There's not nearly enough Dungeons and Dragons in that game. Like the like I don't remember if it's the second or third season, but the whole time where Will Byers is just like, can we go play D&D now? And
Yes!
everyone's, like making
Think
out.
it was
Second
season
season.
two.
It was
Holding
season
hands.
2
Like-
because I didn't make it all the way through season 2, but I remember that and being like, same, dude, same.
Can we just go
now?
play D&D? Like,
I
you
wanna
can
go
do
play
this
D&D
while
now.
we're playing D&D. Everything that y'all are doing right now, we can do while you're playing D&D.
And it'd be more fun and less dangerous.
So much more fun.
And so much less dangerous, says the Virgo Rising.
I haven't seen the fourth season. I don't really.
I did the thing where I was very into a thing, and then I had to
Love the
wait for
first
more
season.
seasons to happen, and then I stopped caring about the thing, and I haven't been able to bring myself to care about it again.
I cared about it from the beginning. I have never stopped caring about it. We just recently watched everything that has come out so far,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna spoil anything.
I have already spoiled it from the internet. That's my favorite thing to do.
Oh, I meant for anybody in chat.
Oh,
who
yeah, no,
hasn't
that's
finished
fine.
it.
You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I love spoiling myself.
So when Sam and I were dating, it was pretty early on in the relationship.
I was like, y'all weren't dating for that long.
No,
so.
we weren't. But yeah, early in our
Cal just
relationship.
running up that hill. Running up. Be running up that building. Said if I only could. That's stuck in my head all the time because of TikTok.
Yeah. We would watch Love Island, or like, some super trashy like dating reality show, and we would get
It's
like
so fascinating from a psychological perspective.
it is, but also we it's just garbage, and we loved it, and we would get like 2 or 3 episodes into the season, and we were like, all right, make your bets. Who's going home? Who's staying? Who's winning this? And then we would make our bets, and then we would both immediately go on the internet to see who won. And we spoiled every season of Love Island for ourselves. Could not stop doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know what sexy roles are, but I want them. Yeah, I
What's
don't.
wrong?
I think part of the thing that happened with Stranger Things too is the first season that came out, I was with my ex and we watched it together. And then I tried to care after it, and then I just was like, I don't know if I like being freaked out by things.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
there's
a
things
pretty
that
big
are
prerequisite for that.
pretty spooky in that show, which is great.
Yeah.
And I love those in theory, and I love playing games that have those things in them. But the way that I default to dissociate to like escaping into movies and shows, no,
Was
that's
not
scary.
conducive.
I have enough anxiety in real life. I don't want fake anxiety given to me by my media.
Yeah. I feel that.
I am also just like, I will watch comedies constantly. I watch comedies and period dramas. If nobody kisses, I don't care. That's it. Everyone has to love each other. The only reason that I'm still watching Naruto is because it's so gay. It's because Naruto and Sasuke
It's
love
really
each other.
gay.
They are obsessed
really
with
gay.
each other. It's so gay. And I love that.
Dude,
I love that.
have you watched much Dragon Ball Z yet? Oh man, you're gonna love how gay Vegeta is.
I make my own anxiety.
Kakarot.
I don't need store-bought.
DBZ is so gay.
It's so gay.
And like in the best way.
There have been
Every
several
time that I
times.
say this, I mean it in like an actual 1000% homosexual.
Yes.
These men
When I
want
say
to jump
it's
each
so
other's
gay.
bones.
Yes, when I say it's so gay, I don't mean it's bad. I mean, like, literally, there is so much homoerotic tension in this show. It is ridiculous. Gay Saiyans. We've been doing.
Gayians!
Honestly, the thing that Amanda and I have, like, both of us have had the brain rot where we're just like, everything is gay something. Gay trees. We have
Gay
allergies
bears.
because of gay trees. Gay bears. Gay cars. Gay everything. Everything's gay. My cats are gay. Pride Month, gay.
It's always
It's always
Pride.
Pride.
I don't care.
But
I don't care that
literally,
like,
like,
the month is done.
The only thing that is keeping me on shows that are not explicitly romantic is that they're stupid funny, or that I am making fun of them for some other reason. Like, I still watch Naruto because I hang out with my boyfriend when we do that. He likes to watch anime with me, and he doesn't like to watch most of the shows that I like to watch because I like to watch shows where just people make out with each other. So he's not into the romance genre, and that's fine.
He wants
doesn't
something
need to
that's
be.
gonna actually like affect his brain.
Yeah, I want to not. So anyway, we watch a lot of anime together because he's trying to get me to like anime. He got me into MHA, which was great, but I don't. Anime's not really my thing. But most of the time that that we're watching it, it's just me like looking at him and like, this is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life, babe. That took 30 seconds for them they're just looking at each other.
Yeah.
The music for this is it's the same music every episode. Why is that the same song that happened already? Great.
Because it's the theme.
But there have been several times that I've literally like paused the show, looked over at Anthony and been like, so the only reason that this 12-year-old boy was able to make it through this ridiculous event that he had to endure is because he needs to stay alive
Mm-hmm.
for this other 12-year-old boy that he knows and hangs out with all the time.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
gay. And then I boop him on the nose, and then I go back to watching the show. So, babe, this show is so gay. It's so gay. No wonder we all ended up so queer.
It's true. Honestly,
All of our
the same
shows
thing
had
is true.
so much homoerotic tension. It's ridiculous.
The same is true for I believe furry culture and like Don Bluth, Disney, even the Sonic franchise is fucking
Look,
guilty of this.
You made Simba hot.
They made him hot.
They made him hot. How? They made Nala hot
I don't know.
too. And like,
Did you see those? You saw those sex lion eyes?
the sex lion
The
eyes.
sex lion eyes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Don't like it, but I also know what you're talking about.
Like, why is Rouge the bat? Why does she have such big tits?
It's unnecessary.
Why?
I don't have an answer for you, honestly.
I know.
Blinks and
I
Demi /
want-
gray sexual.
Ever watched the old Masters of the Universe
Universe
He-Man
He-Man cart-
cartoons?
So gay.
Yes.
It's so gay.
Skeletor. Ah. A gay icon.
Yeah, the way that media has informed us over our lives is an entirely new conversation that we are going to have to get into deeper on another night because it is now 9
Well,
p.m.
isn't it so fun that we have D&D to be able to explore all of those places?
It's true because you know what? I am a bugbear, which is my fursona.
Oh, but I brought Arxie into the chat.
Oh God. I heard someone yell rogue the bat's big tits and I came as fast as I could. 'Tis what she proclaimed. We're an apartment and a cat away
Oh
from
my
a sitcom.
God.
I mean, seriously though. Like, anyway, we thank you guys so much for joining us for Dungeon Masters and Dragon Managers.
None of it was mastered or managed.
And that is the nature of the business. Yeah. We, if you like Sonic as a kid, you are a furry now. Them's facts. Hi, Arxie. We love you. Sad you weren't in the chat before, but okay. We...
Also, why the fuck did they make that fox? Why did they make Robin Hood so fucking hot?
Yeah.
Why'd they make Mary Magdalene so Mary Is her name
Magdalene. Go away! Maid Marian.
Thank you.
My
It's
butt
been a
is
long time
pleased.
since I've seen that movie.
You could manage
We avoid
me.
it now.
Yes, Turtle Mama. My butt is pleased with what this became. I am so happy about so many things. That's
I'm so grateful you could all be here.
we are so grateful that you could be here. This is so much
100%.
fun. Dr. Freud is online too. We should do this more often.
We should.
Yeah, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do more things on my channel too. We're gonna have fun shit coming up, guys. We got a lot in the works that's just behind the scenes getting ready. So we're really excited to bring that stuff to you. Next stream should be Monday,
Yes.
provided
sense.
I am
Yes.
specifically planning on making it back from Colorado in time to stream. So I was playing monsters on the
Arxie.
self-explanatory game Monster Hunter.
Yes. Plan on
Corvus on
Plan
Monday.
on Corvus on Monday. And then
Spookies, our
Spooky
last
Spooky
one.
Carnival wraps up on Tuesday.
My character has already decided to start acting out, so sorry.
Well,
This is a really
fuck around,
fun
find out.
fuck around, find out. He did fuck around. He found out. He got banished. So, you know.
Yeah.
Good times. Anyway, so yeah, and then we might be back with another thing on Wednesday. Who knows? But we love you very much.
We very much do.
There's not a good goddamn thing that you can do about it.
So don't even
No,
try.
You can't even try.
Not a
I was
thing.
gonna check a thing real quick and see if anybody. I think World's Guild is still going, so I think we're gonna try to raid there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to raid there. So, okay, you do raid and then guild. A raid has been created. thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys have the chance to hang out. The World's Guild is doing some really fun stuff. And we want to, check out other people in the D&D world. Bad Apples should be starting soon. So the World's Guild is currently in another one, but Bad Apples is coming up, I think, after that. It's the same channel. So that's got like Katiosaurus and Alec the Bard and so many really cool people that I follow on TikTok and stuff. So check them out. Love you guys so much. And
Love you guys.
aloha!
What?